get them all awkward. What's your name, bro?
My name is Hyro.
Yep. What do we got here behind us?
We got my 2004 Honda S2000.
I was breathless, my heart restless. Every turn felt like it was wrong, but I kept going to show I was strong. Pushing to my own song, but you came, you made me see the weight I put on me was too much, too tough to heal. I needed time, I needed to be
Finished the turbo kit right now. I'm just here for a tune.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to tell everybody a little bit about the car? Just a quick synopsis.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, other than the exterior mod, I have coilovers, sitting on BBS LM wheels, Voltex front, and we just did the turbo kit right now. So it's been down for a whole month, and we just finished it. Just here to tune it. So.
Did you do it all at your house?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me and a couple friends, we did it at his house, and we all just kind of did it all together.
Nice. Those are the best kind of projects.
Yeah.
Well, it came out good. The car looks absolutely amazing, and let's hope it makes some power.
Awesome.
Got any goals today? Maybe 4?
I want to say maybe 400.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anybody with a 400 horsepower S2000 would be happy.
Yep.
Crazy. All right, man. Well, it's nice to meet you. All right, guys. Well, welcome to another episode of Tuned. We're going to put Ethan all awkwardly on the spot and make him do it in one take here. No?
See how that went?
Yeah, that didn't work out well.
So, this is round 2 with this S2000. As many times there are more than just one engagement. This one had a turbo go bad. Kind of right away when it showed up, we knew that it was questionable. It was making a little bit of sound. We decided to start off with it and kind of gently go through, get what I could get done as far as tuning, so that he could come back, replace the turbo, and we had the turbo really go all the way bad at the very end of the tuning session. So
what's the setup now?
So it is a 62 millimeter AGP brand turbo. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, AGP. We were going to go with a Borg Warner, but the guys at AGP kind of talked him into this one. I'm anxious to see. I think it will do well.
Yeah.
It's got a billet wheel in it. It's not ball bearing like the previous turbo was, but it's a little bit more appropriately sized for a pump gas stock motor S2000.
Yeah.
This one does have the AEM V2 standalone, so it's a little bit more complex than your average bolt-on turbo kit.
Yeah.
But I've already spent a little bit of time with it. We did a few fixes previously, like we had the injector clip adapters on here. They are ID injectors, but we deleted the injector clips adapters last time because I think you guys might know or remember that we do not like those. Those have definitely been a cause of problem and concern in the past. There was a few other things that we sorted out. This morning we had to sort out an oil line leak that was a problem. So that seems to be good now. I think the car is ready to jump on the dyno right now. To need a little bit of part throttle tuning and boost threshold since the turbo's smaller, but I think it's ready to get on there and see what it does right now.
All right, let's make some power.
like when I do the first pull, everybody's like trying to look and see what the numbers are. Sometimes I tell them beforehand, hey, the numbers you're gonna see for 10 minutes are not gonna matter. Like, I'm trying to make sure the straps feel good. I'm trying to make sure I'm in the wrong gear right now. So there's a lot of feeling out. I just need to make sure the numbers are headed in the right direction. So, but yeah, so our first numbers, we're whooping 164 and 142 right now. We're still very early in the process here. We're still in third gear, wrong gear, and this was my first crossover into VTEC. You can see the air fuel, which also of note, the air fuel is not quite reading right. See, it's reading way down 7.7. It is running rich, but it's not running that rich. The richest I saw was 9.9 or so. So I need to do something to scale this O2 in. But either way, comparatively, we can see that here's my build up to VTEC, and then VTEC hits, and it goes a bit leaner. It was still rich before and it's rich after, but in AEM, you don't really have two separate fuel maps. You just have a VTEC fuel trim additive. So where you can do an instant, you have this fuel map, and then when VTEC hits, it's plus 5% everywhere, or plus 10% everywhere. So I need to trim some fuel away to the to the fuel map, but I'm gonna need to add some fuel in as the VTEC trim to get these two lines to get even with each other, so that I don't have a big air fuel change right when VTEC hits.
They're tight. $282.
It's like stock, right?
That's to the wheels though. So about 20% drivetrain loss, dyno loss, between everything.
Yeah.
Those are good starter pulls right there.
Good starter pulls.
Yep. And I'm stopping way, so we're at like 6,800 RPMs right now. That was full throttle right there though. That was all in. So that was the first all-out pull where I went full throttle from an early RPM, and we got all the RPM range. So it looks like we're at right around 300 wheel horsepower on, it's like 6.8 PSI. Does not really touch 7 PSI. So that's our number in third gear. I'm gonna do some adjusting until I get the fueling just where I want it. I'm gonna look at the spark plugs and make sure that they look happy. And once I've got everything really how I want it, then I'll do a pull in fourth gear, and then we'll start going up on the boost level. I don't want to start going up on the boost level, before basically I'm just trying to slowly work my way up through all the power levels, making sure that everything is happy all the way between, not just, boom, here's what it does on 20 pounds. And if you're on 20 pounds, you're moving through that 15-pound section really, really quickly. And so if you're not paying close attention, it'd be possible, to have something that runs good and feels okay at 20 pounds, but actually at 15 there's something dangerous going on. So that's looking at the logs, incrementally building your way up in the boost, probably doing third gear before you go to fourth gear. The lower the gear, the less dangerous a lean condition is. And then also always checking the plugs throughout to make sure that they look happy, that there's nothing concerning there, because you see something wrong on the plugs, you better figure out why and make a change immediately. So I did some adjustment to the fueling there, and you can see that at the crossover we didn't have that huge discrepancy, huge change. It's getting to be the right shape right now. It's still rich, but it's getting to be the right shape. So it's more important to have the right shape and then move to make the power before you try to make the power and then change the shape. That looked good. I'm gonna make no changes and do the same thing again for consistency's sake. And I'm gonna go full throttle a little earlier this time because that wasn't, and I'm also gonna rev out a bit higher.
$312. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Still like 6.8 PSI.
Still 6.8 PSI.
How's only 6 pounds?
6.8, so almost 7. We'll call it 7. Hey, 2 horsepower, baby. Down.
Let's see how this looks. Open, replace. Save that one as 4th gear, 2nd. Open. Go. So at a quick glance, the first thing I like to look at, and I glance at this while I'm in the run, is this knock voltage, which is not the end-all be-all. It needs to be calibrated in. It can vary from car to car and various settings, but if I'm seeing 1.5 volts and I see it build kind of steadily, then that's good. You know, it's a 5-volt sensor, so in general, anything less than like 2 volts is unlikely to be real knock, but you have to kind of look at what's right before that and how it builds up to it. If all of a sudden right here I had a big pow, you know, just skyrocket up, then that might be real knock, especially if the voltage gets up into the 2+ volt range. But this kind of a steady build like that, I'm good with. And then if you look at so I have the knock and the ignition on the same plot here, so I can see ignition timing come down right here and then come up. And so this looks like this is just basically resultant of engine noise with increasing RPM. I also looked at the spark plugs earlier, so therefore I'm really sure that this is an okay reading for the knock sensor. The fueling is still a little bit, still dancing around a bit. I need to smooth out right here. I need to get this to just stay flat as it crosses through that area. It'd be okay if at the very end, if it kind of climbed up a little bit. I don't need it to stay so rich. I want it richer around that peak torque area, and then it's okay if once you're past that, once you're a good 1,000 RPMs past the peak torque, you can start pulling away some fuel and adding in some timing, all while checking that it's actually making more power resultant of those changes, because there's no point in stressing the motor out more if it doesn't actually make more power. Alright, so we just pulled this spark plug out. We've been doing 4th gear runs. It looks clean. It's a little bit rich in the end. A lot of 10.5, 10.6 air fuel ratio. So what I'm looking at, a few different things I'm looking at, and you really got to look deep down in there on the porcelain, but the first thing I look at for fueling wise is this black ring, and see how right now it's all a uniform color? If you have the fueling just right, you'll end up with one little area of that black ring. You'll end up with one little area where the fuel is actually burning off, where the carbon is disappearing. And so this is too much fuel right now because it will never burn off. It'll just keep accumulating soot, accumulating. So I want to lean it out to the point where I start to get a little bit of gray on this base ring. The other things I'm looking for are, I don't want to see any like metallic speckles on the strap, or anywhere for that matter. I don't see any of that going on. I'm also looking at where the color change is happening on the plug. It's kind of hard to tell, but where my fingernail is right there, that's where I see the predominant timing strap. We didn't actually shut the car off at full tilt, so it might be covered up a little bit, but I can say that most of our ignition timing is happening right here on the bend, which is a good safe spot for that to be happening. If you go too far with timing, you'll have it move down here too far. If you have too little timing, then you'll get too high of EGTs and it'll start burning the tips off. But that's a good happy medium. It looks like it might be on a little bit more on the downslope, so maybe I probably don't want to add too much more timing than where we're at right now. We're probably just gonna go up with the boost level and then recheck after we've gone up with the boost and make sure that we're still in the same place there.
That sounds like a good plan.
We just got done with our first pull with boost controller, not just sitting at base. Looks like 330 wheel horsepower. I'm not sure of the boost level yet, but probably about 8.5 pounds or something like that. Let's see. Quick look at knock shows nothing crazy going on. No big jumps. Getting only up to like not even a volt there out at full tilt. So I know I got some more timing I can add. Boost really didn't go up much. 7.5 psi. So I guess we just really are keeping the gate shut longer. We didn't really gain much boost, but we kept the gate shut longer so that it probably spooled a little faster and carried just a little bit more power. That made a good bit more power though. That's pretty nice. So hopefully we'll continue that trend. Wouldn't mind adding a little bit of fuel in here. We got 3 or 4 pounds and we're still in the 13s. Once this crosses down, it becomes inaccurate. There's some kind of electrical problem with the car. It cannot get that air fuel here to match exactly what I'm seeing here. I watch this very closely. You always rely on what you see here, not what you log there. Because, I mean, in many cars you can get this to be exactly the same, but in some cases you can't, and you could spend hours trying to figure it out. You can relocate your grounds and do everything they say to do, but sometimes, particularly when it's a standalone, it might not be, you know, it might not be in the timetables to get that working perfectly. So also a little difference between, I mean, I'm seeing 8,000 RPMs in the log, but I have the dyno cutting at 7,600, and I definitely heard the rev limiter. So we're about 400 RPMs, 400 RPMs off, try as I might to align those two RPM settings. All right, we'll take it.
I'll take that.
Heading in the right direction. Okay, so here we got our first pull with some real boost added. We're at now, looks like about 9 psi. Tapped 9.5 or so. Pretty much held 9.0. Knock looks good. Only 1 volt registering there until basically rev limiter. So that looks pretty good. Ignition timing is doing what it needs to. Fueling looked good. Still room to pull a little bit out. It was like 10.8 or so, 10.7 near full tilt. But that looks good and happy. When an S2000 is working right, you have the right turbo, everything is close to correct, then you should always have power increasing all the way out. If you've got power dropping off, something needs changed, because these cars, they love to rev, and it should just make more and more power the higher you rev it. You just have to make a judgment call as to what's a safe rev limiter, because it will keep making more power. 380 something. It was, it didn't hit boost cut, but now it was way too rich. It was 9.8 air fuel there. So I think once I trim the fuel away and maybe add in like 1 more pound. That was like right at 400.
391, huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
Still rich in the top end, so it's got some free power to go right there. Like, you know, right around 400 wheel horsepower, and wanted to let the car cool off. We came back, started it up, and immediately the owner and I heard a different sound. Sounds like an exhaust leak, and it looks like the wastegate. He just got out there and felt, and you can actually see even the air moving, but the wastegate is open right now while the car is just sitting, not in boost. So that gate needs to stay shut until we're at full boost. So if it's open right now, the car is not going to hit full boost, or it's going to hit full boost much later, etc.
Yeah.
So we got something going on with the gate for sure. We're going to maybe try to take it for one more rip and see if it will do the same numbers it did a minute ago, or if it's just open.
Yep. If not, the car did good numbers. All you got to do is fix the wastegate.
They were good numbers. I was kind of hoping, a little bit above 400, but that's still a good number for pump gas. For him to go beat on.
Yeah. And when you get cars on the dyno, that's when you find the problems.
Oh, for sure. Then this is already the second, mechanical kind of problem.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Huh?
Because that was just going too good.
Yep.
Something had to throw a wrench in the gears there.
It wouldn't be an episode of Tuned without some drama.
It couldn't be.
Yeah.
Couldn't be. Coolant temp is already good.
The survey says
It's still made the power.
Well, looky there, guys. Even with an exhaust leak, 406, baby. All right, well, at least we did one more last final pull.
Yeah, it's really hot today. Really hot. Our intake air temperatures are 130 plus degrees even right now.
Yeah.
After letting it cool down for a while. So we know that the tune is good on the car. We probably need to revisit it once this wastegate is fixed, because he's going to grab a little bit more boost a little bit sooner once that gate is working properly again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and we will see y'all next video. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, wait.
Well, I think we need to point out the subscribe is not just subscribe, but you have to hit that
notification bell.
You have
Please
to hit that bell
click
a second
the bell.
time, because I think things changed.
Yep.
And I noticed mine and other friends of mine saw that
Yep.
I was not getting the notifications. You got to hit that bell to get the there's instant notifications.
Absolutely.
If you want to see what I'm doing, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But anyways, yeah, exactly. Thank y'all for tuning in to Trackstar Media Works, and we'll see y'all next video.